So this morning, I wanted to focus on something that is actually quite personal to me. Um, I mean, it's all somewhat personal and it's all somewhat universal too, right? It's just the nature of this practice and the nature of being a human. Uh, but I wanted to address low back pain, SI joint pain, and some strategies that I've found to work with that. And I think most often from the yoga context, which we all share, right? We have this idea that stretching makes everything feel better, and that if something hurts, it must be tight, or if something hurts, it must not uh, have enough like elasticity to it in order to move fluid and stuff. And that can be true. And then on the flip side of that, things can hurt because there's not enough strength supporting them as well. So the body's not working efficiently. And so with lower back pain, specifically SI pain, or like the pain of S1, L5, L5, L4, um, and that region of the body is the very, very low back and top of the sacrum. I have found that for most people, practicing a stabilizing, strengthening routine really, really helps, in addition to doing the sort of mobility exercises that we as yoga practitioners are already used to. So that's where we're going to practice today. And if you are somebody who is currently going through this, I totally understand where you are coming from. It's something that I've seen throughout all of those years at the studio as a teacher. It's something that I have personally gone through, and something that my partner Laura has gone through. And just know that even though it's really frustrating, or it can be really frustrating, right, to be restricted in your movement, restricted in doing the things that you really want to do, how you want to do them, there's also a real beauty in it too, because it allows you to explore your body in a new way. So just remember that. Okay, we're going to start seated. If you prefer to be on your back, be on your back. If you prefer to stand, then feel free to stand as well. And just allow yourself to be comfortable. Let your eyes come to a close. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth and exhale. Take another deep breath in. And exhale completely. As you allow your breath to become natural and easy, feel that same ease throughout the body. And we'll just spend a few minutes here sitting, just allowing the weight of whatever's touching the ground to become a little heavier. And allowing whatever's above to become a little bit lighter. You might slightly soften your shoulders, allow the arms to hang. You might remind yourself to soften your jaw, or to let the eyes drop. And just feeling yourself in however you are situated, both resting on the ground, both earthbound, and also light. Both solid and strong, and also supple, relaxed. And we'll join the palms, bow the chin. Take one or two deeper breaths into the hands. And gently release the arms, open the eyes. And come onto your back. If you don't happen to have blocks available to you, then anything that's nearby, be that a couple of books or perhaps a chair, will do for today. That's the only thing we should need. But just go ahead and come onto your back. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling. Let the collarbone spread. Let the back of the neck release. Back of the head heavy. Okay, and then feet about hip distance apart. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then really, really simply, root down through the three corners of the feet. So big toe mound, little toe mound, center of the heel. And as you root down, lift the hips just an inch, a half inch away from the floor. Press down through the heel a little bit more. And then for those of you who I've seen a lot, we've done this quite a bit. Find that space just where the hamstring and the glute meet. Right? So the bottom of the glute, top of the hamstring, and feel that start to turn on. I like to give a little tactile feel there. Okay? So as you feel that turn on, take an in-breath. And as you exhale, root down through the feet, lift the hips, just so the hips are in line with the knees, right? So you're not coming into a back bend. And then exhale as you lower. And almost so the hips touch the floor, but not quite. Inhale to lift. And exhale, lower. So we're just turning on the stuff on the back side of the body. Inhale to lift. And then exhale, lower. So right now you're feeling hamstrings and mainly glute maximus. Inhale as you lift. Exhale to lower. We'll just do two more like this, really simple. Inhale. And then exhale, lower. Okay, nice. We'll move the feet so that the big toe mounds touch. If that feels really awkward to you, and you can keep your feet a little farther apart. And once again, we'll root down through the feet. We'll lift the hips just a little bit. Feel that space turn on again, bottom of the glute, top of the hamstring. And again, we'll go ahead and lift up on an inhalation. And then exhale, take the knees wide. So now we're starting to go into abduction or abduction, right? Come all the way back through the center. Inhale. Exhale, lower almost to the floor. And go slowly. It's always tempting to move quickly. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, knees to the side. Inhale back to center. And exhale to lower. And you'll notice if you move slowly, you can move with more precision. Okay? Open up. Exhale together and lower. And you're also able to just notice all of those little movements, all of the little places where you might catch, where something might feel a little bit weak or a little bit overcharged. We're going to do two more of these. Is everybody feeling? Really start to turn on the backside a little bit. And then all the way to the floor. Then pause here for a moment. Let the weight drop. And just really simple, right ankle on top of the left knee. Hug left knee towards your chest, hands behind the back of the left thigh. Okay. You can rock, you can roll your left ankle in circles. You can roll your head side to side. Anything that feels good this morning for you is great with me. From here, we're going to tilt all the way over to the left. So that right foot comes to the floor, the outer left leg comes to the floor. Then with your left hand, if you can, hold on to the front of the right shin. With your right hand, find your right hip crease and just press a little bit away. So you're really lengthening through that whole right side of the waist. Take one or two deep breaths here into that space. It can just get really congested, especially if we're sitting a little bit more than usual. On your in-breath, go ahead and come all the way back through the center. Release the right leg, left ankle on top of the right knee. Flex the left foot. Hug right knee towards the chest, hands behind the back of the right thigh. And again, feel free to rock. Feel free to roll the right ankle. Feel free to rock your head side to side. They're all good things to do. And slowly, slowly starting to drop that left foot to the right. And outer right leg on the floor. Then if you can, right hand around the front of that left shin. Right thumb in the right hip crease, giving a little press forward. So just taking a few breaths here. Try to soften your left shoulder a little bit if you're firing that a little too much, as we have tendency to do. And on your in-breath, come all the way back through the center. Unwind the legs, hug the knees towards your chest. Just really simple. Then park the knees just above the hips. You can flex the feet or not flex the feet. It doesn't really matter. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. Okay, so I'd like you to feel that neutral curve in your low back. If you're trying to hug your knees in too much, the low back will squish to the floor. If your knees are too far forward, the spine will be in too much of a curve, right? So we want it right in neutral. And then we're going to keep it there, and we'll reach the right leg forward and left arm back. Hug your left knee towards your chest as you do this. See if you can still maintain that neutral curve. And then all the way back to center. It's really simple, really effective stuff. Lengthen your left leg forward, right arm reaches alongside the ear, pull your right knee towards your chest, get the hip flexors involved, and then all the way back to center. Okay, so left arm, right leg, and back to center. And then right arm, left leg, and back to center. This is really nice to do as well if you happen to have one of those resistance loops, but we'll just pretend like nobody does today. Maybe we'll do that another day. And then back to center. One more time on each side. And back to center. So we're just starting to feel every part of the core, right? Legs are integrated with the core. Arms are integrated with the core. And back to center. Hug your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And then we'll roll to one side. Come up onto hands and knees. All right, take the knees wide, toes together to touch. Reach the hips back for child's pose, just for a couple of breaths. two of the major players in stabilizing the low back, specifically stabilizing the ilia, which is the back of the hip, right? Our glute medius, so this muscle that runs laterally across the top of the glute max, and the obliques, which are the muscles that sort of wrap the most superficial muscles on the core, and they wrap around from back to front. So we're working a lot with those today. On your in-breath, come up to hands and knees. And then really simply, take that same motion. So reach the right leg back, left arm forward. And then we just add a little bit. So keeping the right heel high, take the right leg over to the right, left arm to the left. Inhale back to center and exhale as you lower. Left leg reaches, right arm reaches, pause. And then as the left arm right arm reaches out, left leg reaches to the left, come back to center. Go ahead and lower down. Left arm, right leg. Take your leg and arm to the sides, abduction back to the center. Lower down. And then right arm, left leg. Left leg to the side, right arm to the side, back to center. Knee down, hand down, pause. We'll keep our hands on the floor. And then go ahead and extend your right leg behind you again. This might look a little bit tricky to start with, but I promise it's not really. So turn your toes to the right, just like we would in a three-legged downward facing dog sometimes, right? So from the hip, we turn the toes to the right. And without losing the stability through the center, lift your outer right leg a little bit higher. Feel that outer hip turn on. Come back to the center, turn the toes down, and then we'll cross the leg behind. So it's going to tap on the other side of the left leg. Inhale, come back to center, toes turn to the right, lift from the outer hip. Come back to center, tap the toes to the left. Okay? So a few more on this side. We'll turn the toes, lift the hip, all the way back. Tapping to the left, lift up, turn toes to the right, lift, and all the way back, toes tap to the left. Bring your leg back to center, bend the knee to the floor. We'll repeat with the left leg, lengthen the left leg behind. From your hip, turn the toes to the left. So feel those externally rotated muscles turn on, and then lift that leg a little higher, right? And we'll turn the toes down, tap those toes to the outer edge of the right leg. Come back through center, lift up, legs externally rotated, and all the way back, toes tap to the right. Okay, so 3 more on this side. So just really waking up all of this stuff. I'm a big proponent of moving slowly, especially with strengthening stuff. All of those little edges that you feel, you get so much more out of each movement. And you know, efficiency is one of my favorite words. Life is often not efficient, but our strengthening exercises can be. Come all the way back, bring the knee down. This time we'll tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, make your way into downward facing dog. And from down dog, go ahead and pedal your feet. Right, so you're just reaching down and back through each heel. And then as we've been doing for the past few weeks, turn your right toes to the right, drop the heel down. Bend your left knee and lengthen into the outer edge of that right hip. Take a breath or two, arms are strong and straight. Back to the center, bend your left knee, right knee, drop the left heel down, left toes turn to the side. Reach into the outer left hip. Then all the way back through center. Inhale, come forward to plank and pause. Okay. In plank, feel the palms root down. Feel the tops of the thighs lift. And then see if you can reach back through the heels. Right? So almost like the kneecaps have their own bandha in them that you need to lift up and start to work with. Feel that. Chest reaches a little forward. One more breath, such a good, just all over stabilizing movement. And exhale to lower. And as you inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, step the right foot forward. And keep the left knee high and inhale as you come up to a high lunge. Okay, so pausing in this high lunge. Drop down through the right thigh, feel that right heel ground, and then as though you're trying to pull your right shin back, do that. Try to shrink your mat. Right, feel that work, inhale. And then hands to your hips, lean forward. Try to keep your hips back the best that you can, look to the floor, step your left foot forward, feet hip distance, come to Utkatasana. Right, so just an easy Utkatasana. Send the hips back, knees just a little in front of the heels. And then bring your hands to the outer edges of the legs, right? Just the outer edges of the knees. Press out. So as the outer knees are pressing into the hands, feel the outer hips start to firm and turn on. And we'll take one more breath here, reach the arms up. Exhale, step left foot back, bring knee to the floor. Inhale here, just a low lunge, lift the chest. Exhale, bring hands to the floor. Step back to plank. Good, pause in plank. We'll lift the right leg up. You can also just stay in plank. Or if you'd like, go ahead and reach it to the right, tap it down. Back to center, tap into the middle. Right leg lifts, tap it to the right. Back to center. Good, and we're just doing this a few times. Another few breaths. It should be hard, should be challenging. Back to the center, pause, inhale. Exhale, lower to the floor. Okay, arms reach back by your sides, turn the palms down. Okay, look to the floor, and on your in-breath, peel the shoulders away from the floor. Lift the arms up, so we're starting to focus back of the arms in this pose, right? Upper back. So as the posterior chain starts to work, lift the legs as well. Okay, take another breath here, Shalabhasana. And exhale to lower. Tuck the toes, inhale. Exhale, one way or another, come to plank. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale as you reach left leg up and back. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Right knee stays high, inhale to rise. And then try to drop that right thigh just a little lower. So right thigh is reaching down. And in that, press down through the left heel. Left thigh reaching down. Left heel pressing. Try to pull that left shin bone back. Okay, lift taller through the chest. Can you feel the right thigh lift up? And then hands to the hips. Lean forward, pause. Without moving the hips forward as much as possible, step your right foot forward. Feet hip distance in parallel. Hands to the outer knees. Pause here as the hips reach back, right? So you're trying to increase that crease, that angle. Then as the knees press out, lift the chest. Feel outer hips turn on, inhale. Exhale, step the right foot back. Knee to the floor. Nice big breath to release the front of the right hip. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back to plank. Pause in plank, inhale. And then lift your left foot if you'd like. Tap it out to the left, all the way back to center. Left foot lifts. Tap to the left, back to center. And a couple more. So just feeling the whole connection, right? Outer hip starts to get stronger. Obliques start to get stronger, and they do their job of holding everything in place, of holding the bones in place. Okay? Pause when you're in the center, one in breath. Exhale as you lower. Arms by your sides, untuck the toes. Inhale as you lift everything up, Shalabhasana. Exhale to lower. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, inhale. Exhale, press to plank, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, pedal your feet, shake out your head, give yourself a little fluidity. And then again, we'll inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Keep the left knee high, inhale. And then interlace hands behind the head. Okay? Elbows nice and wide. Still dropping that right thigh down, pressing through the heel. On your exhalation, try to turn and twist, like that left elbow's trying to reach forward. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, turn and twist. Inhale, back to center. Good, a couple more, exhale. Inhale, back to center. And last one, exhale. Inhale, back to center. Good, lean forward, leave your hands where they are. Step to Utkatasana with kind of a wider base. Okay, and from here, we'll bring that left ankle on top of the right knee. Sit the hips back. If you like your hands on your hips, if you like hands on your shins, hands to blocks or a chair or whatever you have, that's great. Just pause here for a moment. And then again, hands interlaced behind the head if you like. Press down through the right foot, unwind the left leg, step it all the way back. Knee to the floor, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hands to the floor. And step back to plank, pause in plank. And then again, we'll go through this little plank toe tap, so lifting the right leg, step it out to the right, back to center. Step out to the right, back to center. And a couple more, out to the right, back to center, out to the right, and back to center. Inhale. Exhale, lower to the floor. Untuck the toes. Inhale, just to a small cobra. Right, so usually we just press into upward facing dog so fast. Pause in a small cobra, pull the elbows back, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. And pause. Breathe. And just feel the effect of your work, right? What do you notice? And then inhale, reach your left leg up and back. Exhale to step left foot forward. Right knee stays high. Inhale as you reach up. Bend your elbows, hands interlaced behind the head. Bend your left knee a little bit more. And exhale, from your center, right elbow reaches forward. Inhale back. Exhale, right elbow reaches forward. Inhale back. Exhale, 2 more times. And inhale back. Exhale. Inhale back to center, pause. Lean forward, look to the floor. Step the right foot forward to kind of a wide Utkatasana. Let the hips settle back, and then right ankle on top of the left knee. Okay, so all of this balancing work is so good as well. Just balancing on one leg is really hard to do. It requires a lot from those outer hip muscles to stabilize. Just pausing here, the more you bend your left knee, the deeper of a stretch you'll feel in that outer right hip and back of the right hip. Hands come back. Unwind your right leg, step all the way back. Right knee to the floor. 1 in breath here, lift the chest. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back to plank. And then last time, I promise. Lift your right foot, left leg up. Left toes to the side, tap. All the way to the center. Tap to the left, back to center. And a couple more times. I'm so glad this is through the internet rather than in front of people, because I think a block would be thrown at me by now. Okay, back to the center, in breath. Exhale, lower to the floor. Untuck the toes. Inhale to a baby cobra. Pause. So feel the back body turn on. Inhale to a baby cobra. Pause. And inhale just a little higher, a little adolescent cobra. Pause. And then if you'd like, inhale all the way to upward facing dog. Right, so the back body is shortening. Use those muscles. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment. Let's bring the knees to the floor. Send the hips back, come to child's pose. And just gently, gently sway your body side to side. And then we'll walk the hands over to the right. Lean into the left side of the waist. Inhale, come back to the center. Walk your hands over to the left, lean into the right side of the waist. And inhale all the way back. Make your way to hands and knees, downward facing dog. All right, so have your blocks or your books or your chair somewhere nearby. We'll inhale, reach the right leg up and back. This time, turn the toes to the right, lift the outer edge of that leg higher. Right, so you can feel that turn on. And then point the toes down, re-level the hips. Inner right thigh pulling up. Exhale, hug the knee towards your chest, step your right foot forward. And then while you're here, go ahead and just place those blocks or grab your chair, put it in front of your mat. Turn your left heel down, hands to your hips, inhale as you come up to warrior one. You are welcome to reach your arms up if you'd like. Okay, we're gonna do warrior one a little funky. So press down to that right heel enough that you pull your toes up. And then deep, deep from the hip, turn your toes to the right, tap them down. Inhale to center and over to the right. So again, we're just kind of moving side to side. Try to keep your hips low. All of this work is coming from the hips. Getting all of those little muscles involved. And still paying attention to the whole body. So left leg still nice and straight. Outer edge of the left foot is still pressing down. Good. And next time your right toes point forward, let them point forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale to bring hands to the blocks or to the chair or to the books. Inhale, come up to Virabhadrasana 3, warrior 3 with hands to something. Okay. So drop your left hip down. More often than not, it's really common to have that left hip hiked up. We'll get there in a moment, but we're going to keep it level for now. Press through the left heel. And then as though we're doing that same movement from the very beginning on hands and knees, try to drop your outer left hip down, sag into the outer right hip. Right, so the left toes turn to the right. And then inhale, come up. Left toes turn to the left. Lift the outer left leg a little higher. Belly is nice and strong. You're supported through your core. So if you did take your hands away, you could do this without blocks. And then all the way back to center. And just a couple more times. So we're reaching in, we're stretching all of the fibers on the outer right hip and strengthening them by sucking them into the side. Sucking them into that hip. And last time, come back. Let the left toes turn out. Bend your right knee. Step all the way back. Inhale to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. So just adjust your feet however you'd like to. Right toes pointing forward, left toes turned about 45 degrees. Heel to arch, heel to heel. Wider, doesn't really matter. Drop your right thigh down. Take one more breath. And exhale, hands to the floor. Step all the way back to plank. Pause and plank. Good. And we'll lift the right leg up. Bend the knee. Hug right knee towards that left tricep, so cross under. Come all the way back to center, right leg hovers. 2 more. Exhale, right knee to the left tricep. Inhale, back to center. Last time, right knee to left tricep. All the way back to center, inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale to a back bend, whatever feels good to you. Exhale to downward facing dog. Good, just one more side, pause, take a breath. Inhale as you reach left leg up and back. Turn the toes to the left. That should feel pretty familiar now. Lift that outer edge of the leg higher. Turn the toes down, re-level the hips. And exhale, step left foot forward. Right heel to the floor, hands to your hips. Inhale to come up. And then one more time on this side. Okay? So as the left heel presses down, pull the toes up. From deep within the hip, turn the toes and the knee to the left. Tap down and come back to the center. Okay, so we're working all of those really small muscles that do this movement in the hip. And I know it seems counterintuitive to work strengthening an area that is often so tight for so many people, but it's often tight because it's not turned on, right? It's not working efficiently. And all the way back to center, inhale. Exhale, lean forward, onto the ball of the back foot, warrior 3, one way or another. Hands to blocks, hands to a chair, whatever works well for you. And then we'll hug inner right thigh towards that inner left thigh. Turn the right toes to the left. Inhale as you turn toes to the right, lift the outer right leg a little higher. Okay, then we rotate again. So it's like the inner thighs are kissing as though they're touching, as though they don't anyway. And then lift the outer right leg up. Okay, a couple more times. So starting to stretch all of those fibers that did all of that work. And last one, inhale. All the way back to center. Keep the toes turned to the right. Bend your left knee. Step back. Inhale to warrior 1. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Okay, pause here. Can you feel that outer right hip turn on that's trying to hug the inner outer thigh or outer hip into the hip, right? One last breath. Exhale, bring hands to the floor. Step back to plank. And last time, lift your left leg up. Left knee towards the right tricep. All the way back to center. You can certainly do this with your knee down. Left knee to the right tricep. Back to the center. Last time, left knee to the right tricep. Back to center, inhale. Exhale, lower to the floor or chaturanga. Inhale to a back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. And a deep breath in through your nose. Open the mouth, exhale. One more deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. And we'll bring the right knee behind the right wrist, right ankle behind the left. And then do a half pigeon pose and lift up your left knee, scoot it a little bit back. If you like something like a block underneath your hip, if you prefer to come onto your back, for any reason, that's fine. Inhale here. And then exhale, let yourself lengthen forward. Maybe pausing on hands or forearms. Maybe placing a block under the forehead. Just letting this half pigeon feel really sweet. We won't be here for too long, but for a few breaths. Can you let your awareness expand to some areas that aren't so obvious? So how about the shoulders or the pinky fingers? How about the sensation in the back of the throat? Or maybe the contents of your thoughts? And just noticing that you're thinking, problem solving, working through whatever it is you're doing. And as you're ready, come up onto your hands, tuck the toes, step back, downward facing dog. Just taking a moment, pause, right? Pause. We often move on to the next thing super fast. Left knee behind the left wrist, left ankle behind the right. Pausing here as you start to lengthen the right leg back. Okay, lift up. So find a little stretch at the front of the right hip if that's possible. Prop yourself however you need to, and then allow yourself to lengthen forward. Yoga, as much as anything else, any other practice like this, is a practice of integration. And I say it all the time, it is a movement of from the gross to the subtle. So as we work through those tissues, like the most obvious things that are there, the sensation of the muscles moving the bones to put us into position. What else is present? That to me is a mature practice. That to me is an advanced practice. And we come up onto the hands, tuck the back toes, step all the way back to downward facing dog. And let yourself be still. Right? Let the breath be fluid. Maybe loosen the jaw again, even wiggle it. And one way or another, come to a seat. We'll bring the feet together. Let the knees fall apart. And especially if you are experiencing some pain right now, right? So if you have pain in your low back or your SI region, just be really gentle. I think being gentle is great anyway in a forward fold, okay? But inhale here. And then as you exhale, lengthen forward. And I want you to go slowly enough that you can actually feel where your edge is. Okay, so when you find the edge, pause. Let it dissolve. And then allow yourself to move just a little bit more. If you can put your face on the floor, it's really inconsequential. It just doesn't matter. If you can wrap your toes behind your head, if you can, pick your nose with your toes, it just doesn't matter. We need to move beyond these kind of archaic ways of measuring success and measuring health and wellness. And then we pause. in-breath, lift us up. We'll leave the right leg as it is. Lengthen your left leg out to the side. Okay. Reach your left hand down on top of the shin. And then reach your right arm up. Turn the palm. And come into a side bend. Instead of just hanging here, let there be a little tone. Maybe even try to shorten that right side of the waist a little bit in an effort to lengthen the left side. And just feel what that feels like. And then see if you can soften into that a little bit. And inhale as you rise up, all the way back to center. Bring feet together, let the knees be apart. And then we'll lengthen right leg out to the right, left foot to the inner thigh. Right hand to the top of the right shin. Inhale as you sweep the left arm up, turn the palm, and exhale to come into a side bend. Okay, so lengthening all the fibers on the side of the waist. And then instead of just hanging here, right, instead of just letting it be totally passive, add a little activity to it, add a little active stretch. Okay, that's what that's called. And shorten those fibers a little bit, like you're trying to hug your outer rib to your outer hip, just 1%, 2%. And then your in-breath will rise all the way up. Bring the feet together, knees apart, pause. Knees together. Bring the shins parallel to the floor. Hang out here. And if you'd like to stay in Navasana, then this is great. If you'd like to add just a little rotation, anywhere on the spectrum is totally fine. And if this feels like too much, even toes to the floor, feet to the floor. Okay. So we'll pause. And then go ahead and lengthen the legs long. Rotate to the right. Inhale back to center. Lengthen legs long, rotate to the left. Back to center. Long legs, lengthen to the right. Back to center. And then over to the left, lengthen legs. Back to center. Good, pause, inhale. If you want to reach the arms, if you want to reach the legs, do that. And then feet to the floor. Hanging out here, lengthen the legs long. Bring the hands behind. And just a nice stretch for the chest, lift up tall. Pressing through the palms, thighs root down. We'll come up to sit, bend your left knee, pull the heel in towards the hip. You are welcome to stay here. If you'd like to cross your leg over your right leg, that's great too. And then just a coat hanger with the right elbow. Bring the left hand behind, inhale to sit up tall. On your exhalation, turn. Again, instead of cranking into this, it's not about how deeply you can twist. Right? It's about how evenly you can twist the spine. So even in the thoracic, especially the upper thoracic, right, can you feel this twist just as evenly as you can in the lower spine or the lumbar spine, which naturally has more movement in this direction. A few deep cleansing breaths, just working down, ringing through all of the organs, all of the tissues. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to unwind, lengthen your leg. We'll bend the right knee, pull the heel to the hip. Keep your leg here if that's more comfortable, if you just need more space, or cross your foot over. And then a little coat hanger arm, left elbow around the knee, right hand behind, inhale. And then exhale as you turn. Instead of focusing on how deeply you can move, imagine how evenly you can move. Right, so once the low back naturally finds its stopping point. See if you can coax just a little more out of the upper back. And though it's hard to breathe deeply in a twist, allow your breath to soften down. And on your in-breath, look forward. And exhale to unwind. Go ahead and lengthen your legs. And then you have your option, okay? So 3 options. Either left shin in front of the right, feet flexed for Sukhasana, okay? Left knee on top of the right knee, and feet flexed or not in Gomukhasana, or Agni Stambhasana, ankle on top of the knee. Notice that my ankle is not turned, the bottom of the foot isn't looking to the ceiling, it's looking to the side of the room. Okay, so whatever works well for your hips, not a contest. Inhale, and then exhale. We'll walk the hands forward. And again, you're just pausing. Pause when you find the first edge, and then let it dissolve. Starting to let the breath slow down. Maybe even letting it lengthen a bit. We'll go ahead and walk our hands just a little bit to the left. If you'd like to drop that left forearm down, walk the right fingertips away, that can feel good if that's in the natural range of your body. You can find somewhere else to be, maybe just dropping the elbow towards the floor. And then all the way back through center. Unwind. Go ahead and lengthen the legs. Just give a little shake. And we'll take it the other way. So bringing right shin in front for Sukhasana, if that's what you want to do today. Gomukhasana legs or Agni Stambhasana legs with the right ankle on top of the left knee. Okay. So you're making parallel shins the best that you can. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale as you fold forward. Instead of pushing, instead of striving, you just notice when the acquisitive mind, when the wanting mind starts taking over, it drives so much. Right? So letting yourself be with what is this morning. From here, we'll walk our hands over to the right. If it's comfortable, you might bring your right forearm to the floor, crawl your left fingertips forward, or some combination thereof. Inhaling back through center. Unwind the legs. And we'll just make our way onto the back. Pausing. Let the shoulders drop. You might close your eyes. We'll take the hands just to the root of the thighs, so very tops of the thighs, fingertips pointing to the knees. Take an in-breath here. Start to press heels of the hands into the tops of the thighs. And then as you exhale, allow the belly to carve. Allow heels of the hands to reach into tops of the thighs. We'll relax the arms. Let the knees sway to the left. If you want to pause, then that's fine. If you'd like to just move through it a little bit more, then it's fine to just windshield wiper your legs too. And one leg at a time will lengthen out. Let the toes turn out. Let the palms turn up if they're not already there. Take a moment to gently, lightly tuck each shoulder blade underneath. Let the back of the neck be really long. And we'll let the eyes close. Again, take a deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Let yourself rest in Shavasana just for a few minutes. If you have the time, if you'd like to stay in Shavasana a little bit longer, please feel free to do so. If 45 minutes is what you have today, then great. And gently start to deepen the breath. Make small movements. Introduce a swallow or a stretch. And gently transition to the right side. When you are ready to come up to seated, allow your head and your neck to stay heavy. Just using hands and arms to help you. And join our palms. Bow the chin. Take a moment for our time, for our intention. May we walk tall for the rest of the day. Namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you on Saturday if you can make it. And if not, then next Wednesday I'll be around as well. right. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day and enjoy your breakfast if you haven't already had it.